Ever feel like life just keeps throwing stuff at you? Like you're constantly putting out fires, but never really getting to the root of the problem.
Yeah, I know that feeling. It's like a never-ending cycle of stress and quick fixes.
Exactly. And sometimes it feels like conventional medicine just throws more pills at the symptoms without really understanding what's causing them.
It's definitely a common experience these days. More and more people are realizing that a quick fix isn't always the answer, especially when it comes to true wellness.
So true. There's a real need for a more holistic approach, one that sees the connection between our minds, bodies, and spirits.
Exactly. And that's actually what we're exploring in this deep dive today.
We're going to be looking at Starseed Psychics. They've got this unique business model that focuses on this whole person approach to wellness.
Interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, our main source is actually a document from the founder, Master Psychic Spiritwalker. He's written over 50 books, so he's really thought this through.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and it's fascinating how Starseed Psychics combines these two worlds, psychic guidance and wellness coaching.
It's an interesting combination, that's for sure.
They've got a team of wellness coaches with over 50 years of combined experience, so they're bringing a lot of expertise to the table.
That's really cool. So what exactly does Spiritwalker say in his document?
Well, he starts by making this powerful point about how the stress of modern life is a major contributor to things like anxiety and panic attacks.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he even uses this striking image of someone with a gallon bag of 23 different drugs to show how we get caught in this cycle of treating symptoms without ever addressing the underlying cause.
Wow, that's a powerful image. It really makes you think.
Right. He's arguing that pharmaceuticals don't always get to the root of the issue and can even make things worse sometimes.
And that can lead to a dependency on more and more medication, which is definitely not ideal.
Absolutely.
So where do herbal remedies fit into all of this?
Well, that's what's so interesting. Spearwalker believes that herbal remedies can be a much more effective approach because they focus on those deeper imbalances.
I see. So it's about addressing the root cause instead of just masking the symptoms. It's a time-tested approach that works with the body's natural healing mechanisms.
Exactly. And to show just how long this has been going on, Spiritwalker takes us way back in time, talking about how the ancient Sumerians were already using medicinal plants thousands of years ago.
Oh, wow.
He even mentions that they documented their use of opium on clay tablets.
That's incredible. It's amazing to think about how this knowledge has been passed down for generations.
Totally. Okay, so this next part might be a little controversial. Spiritwalker claims that herbs can be used to treat cancer.
Ah, I see. Well, it's important to be cautious with claims like that. While many cultures have a long tradition of using herbs for various ailments, it's crucial to rely on scientific evidence and consult with qualified healthcare professionals, especially when dealing with something as complex as cancer.
You are absolutely right. It's always best to err on the side of caution and get professional advice.
Exactly. So let's move on. What specific herbal remedies does Spiritwalker recommend for anxiety and panic attacks?
He actually lists 5: lavender, lemon balm, passion flower, St. John's wort, and valerian.
Interesting. Each of theirs has a long history of traditional use.
It's true. Starting with lavender, Spiritwalker describes it as being incredibly soothing, great for stress, anxiety, and even depression. He mentions its traditional use for tension headaches and even suggests using lavender oil topically for soothing things like itchy skin.
Lavender's calming effects are pretty well documented even in research. Studies have suggested that even just inhaling lavender essential oil can reduce anxiety and improve mood.
That's really cool. Then there's lemon balm, with that lovely citrusy scent. He
Nice.
points out that it's actually part of the mint family, so it's easy to confuse it with peppermint if you're not paying attention.
I could see that happening.
He recommends it mainly as a tea for anxiety relief. But he also mentions some possible benefits for things like insomnia, cold sores, and even memory enhancement.
And there's actually some science backing up some of those claims. Lemon balm has compounds that studies have shown can have a calming and mood-boosting effect. There have even been some studies that found that lemon balm extracts can improve cognitive function.
That's amazing. Up next, we have passion flower. It's such a stunning flower that's native to the Americas.
It really is a beautiful flower.
Spiritwalker tells us it was traditionally used for healing wounds, but now it's more commonly known as a remedy for things like stress, anxiety, and sleep problems.
Right, and there's a reason for that. Passion flower's calming effects are likely due to its interaction with something called GABA receptors in the brain.
GABA receptors.
Yeah, GABA is this neurotransmitter that helps to promote relaxation and reduce anxiety.
Ah, I see. So passion flower helps to increase GABA.
That's the idea.
Fascinating.
It is.
Okay, so St. John's wort is probably one of the more well-known herbs on this list, often associated with treating depression.
It is one of the more well-known ones, for sure.
But Spiritwalker actually emphasizes its broader uses for things like stress relief and panic attacks. He even mentions its antiviral and antibacterial properties.
I see.
And get this, he claims it can even help with Parkinson's disease.
Wow. Well, St. John's wort has been extensively researched, especially for its antidepressant effects. Some studies have actually shown it to be as effective as certain conventional antidepressants for treating mild to moderate depression. However, it's really important to note that St. John's wort can interact with a wide range of medications, so it's absolutely essential to consult with a healthcare professional before using it.
That's a great point. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly.
And last but not least, we have valerian. This is an herb with a history dating back to ancient Greece and Rome.
Wow, that's going way back.
I know, right? Spiritwalker mentions that it was traditionally used for insomnia and was even used by Native Americans for wound healing and as a cough remedy. He recommends valerian for a whole host of things: stress, anxiety, pain relief, muscle relaxation, even restless legs syndrome.
Quite the list. It's thought that valerian might actually work in a similar way to passion flower by increasing levels of that GABA in the brain that we were talking about. More research is definitely needed, but some studies have suggested that valerian root extracts can improve sleep quality and reduce anxiety symptoms.
That's really interesting. It's so cool to see how these ancient remedies are now being backed up by modern scientific research.
It is. It makes you wonder what other hidden gems are out there in the natural world.
It really does.
But remember, like with any therapy, it's always best to approach herbal remedies with informed caution, understand both their potential benefits and any risks.
I totally agree. And here's something that I thought was really interesting when I was reading through Starseed Psychics' website. Both Spiritwalker and Gypsy Wind, who's another key figure at Starseed Psychics, are practicing herbalists themselves.
Oh, wow. So this isn't just something they talk about. They actively use these remedies in their lives.
Exactly.
That really highlights how Starseed Psychics is taking a genuinely holistic approach. They're not just offering psychic readings, they're incorporating these herbal remedies and a philosophy that recognizes how the mind, body, and spirit are all connected.
I love that. And speaking of their philosophy, they have this incredible quote on their website: "Holistic spiritual services aim to empower individuals to discover their inner strength, wisdom, and connection to the universal energy."
That's beautifully put. It really gets to the heart of what they're trying to do. They're going beyond just treating symptoms. They're helping people to cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness and connect to something bigger than themselves.
It's so true. It's this idea of empowerment, of helping people tap into their own inner resources for healing and growth.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that true healing comes from within. And I think that's a message that resonates with a lot of people. It really does highlight how Starseed Psychics is offering something more than just your typical psychic readings.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, we can help you with your intuition and connect with the spiritual side of things, but we also want to support your overall well-being, like in a practical way.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, it's like recognizing that true wellness has to include every part of who we are.
It does. It really does. And this idea of herbal remedies being such a big part of what they do is really interesting.
It is interesting.
You know, it's like they're taking this ancient wisdom and they're kind of like weaving it into how we think about wellness today.
Yeah, bridging that gap between traditional healing and more modern trends.
Right. Like, hey, this stuff has been working for a really long time. Let's not just throw it away because it's not the newest thing out there.
Sure.
There's so much we can learn from those older approaches.
Absolutely. So thinking about their business model, Starseed Psychics is kind of like a one-stop shop for this whole holistic wellness thing.
That's really what makes them so unique, you know?
Yeah.
They're not just offering one service. They're giving you this whole experience that addresses, like we said, the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Exactly. It's like a central hub for all these different modalities.
Yeah.
You can get a reading, you can talk to a wellness coach, you can learn about using herbs.
Right. And by putting all of those things together, they're creating this really cool approach where each part supports and strengthens the others.
It's not just about fixing one symptom or problem.
It's not.
It's about creating a sense of balance and harmony in your whole being.
Absolutely.
And they seem to be really careful about who they bring on board, too.
Yeah.
We talk about Spiritwalker and Gypsy Wind being herbalists. But what about these wellness coaches?
Yeah.
What kind of background do they have?
Well, from what I've seen on their website, they come from all sorts of backgrounds.
Mhm.
Some have training in more traditional healing practices.
Okay.
Others specialize in nutrition, fitness, mindfulness, stress reduction.
So there's a variety.
Yeah, like they've created this team with a wide range of expertise so they can really meet a lot of different needs and preferences.
It's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
It's not.
They recognize that everyone's journey is different, and they want to provide options that really resonate with each person.
Exactly. And they seem to be really committed to empowering people to take control of their own well-being.
Yeah.
It's not about telling them what to do. It's about giving them the tools and support they need to make their own informed choices.
Choices that align with their values and beliefs.
Right.
It's about getting to the root cause, not just treating the symptoms.
Yeah, and encouraging people to take an active role in their own health journey.
Ex-
It's interesting to think about the challenges they might face with this kind of model.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a world where conventional medicine is still very dominant,
Yeah.
and there's often a lot of skepticism around alternative therapies.
There is, even though herbal remedies, like we said, have been used for centuries.
Right. There's this perception that if it's not mainstream medicine, it's somehow less valid or even dangerous.
Yeah.
And Starseed Psychics is really going against the grain in that sense.
They are.
They're pioneers.
Yeah. Carving out a new path that blends traditional wisdom and modern approaches to wellness.
I love that.
I think that's really cool.
It takes courage to challenge the status quo and offer something different.
It does.
And it seems like they're walking the talk,
They do.
not just in terms of their services, but also in their whole message.
Right.
They're not pretending to have all the answers.
No.
They're more like guides, helping people on this journey of self-discovery and holistic well-being.
That's a really good way to put it. I think that's what makes them so relatable.
Mm-hmm.
They're acknowledging that this is a journey, an ongoing process,
Yeah.
and they're inviting people to join them on that journey.
It's refreshing to see,
Right.
a business that's not about quick fixes or miracle cures,
Right.
but about real, lasting well-being.
Absolutely.
And this focus on herbal remedies,
Yeah,
it's smart.
it is.
It taps into that growing desire for natural and holistic solutions.
Right. Like, hey, there's power in these plants.
Mm-hmm.
They've been healing people for generations.
Yeah.
And they can still play a vital role in our lives today.
And it goes beyond just the physical benefits.
It does.
Many of these herbs have a long history of being used to address emotional and spiritual imbalances too,
Right.
which ties back to that mind-body-spirit connection they keep emphasizing.
Exactly. It's all connected.
I'm curious to learn more about the specific remedies they suggest.
Yeah, me too.
We've touched on them briefly, but I'd love to hear more about their traditional uses and how they've been used throughout history.
Okay, yeah. Let's start with lavender, which has been a favorite for its calming and soothing properties for centuries.
It smells so good.
It does.
I know it's been used for a long time.
Yeah, its use actually goes all the way back to ancient Rome, where they used to add it to baths and scent their linens with it.
Oh, wow. Like those fancy Roman baths?
Yeah.
Filled with the aroma of lavender.
It must have been amazing.
So relaxing.
I can only imagine. And its uses go beyond just relaxation.
Really?
Yeah, in traditional medicine, lavender was used to help with headaches, insomnia, digestive issues, and even skin conditions.
Wow, it's like a multitasker in the herbal world.
It is. And its popularity has really lasted through the ages, and now modern research is backing up a lot of its traditional uses.
That's so cool.
It is. It's amazing to see that ancient wisdom being validated by modern science.
It is.
Okay, so moving on to lemon balm.
Okay.
You mentioned you love its lemony scent.
I do.
It's so refreshing.
It is.
And we talked about it being a member of the mint family.
Uh-huh.
I can see how you might mistake it for peppermint.
Yeah, if you weren't paying attention.
Right. Did you know its name actually comes from the Greek word melissa, which means honeybee?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's because lemon balm is known to attract bees with its sweet, citrusy smell.
That's interesting how the names of these herbs often reflect their qualities or their history.
It really is.
So what about its historical uses?
Well, back in ancient Greece, they actually used lemon balm to treat scorpion stings and dog bites.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. And Dioscorides, who was this famous physician and botanist, even recognized its calming properties way back then.
Wow, that's a wide range of uses.
It is. It's amazing how these remedies have been around for so long and are still relevant today.
It's a testament to their effectiveness, I guess.
It is. And of course, lemon balm is still a popular choice for dealing with stress, anxiety, and sleep problems these days. And modern research is supporting a lot of those traditional uses.
That's great. All right, let's talk about passion flower.
Okay.
It's such a beautiful flower.
It is beautiful.
And the name is so interesting.
It is.
Where does that name come from?
Well, it's rooted in Christian symbolism.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah, early Christian missionaries in South America saw the flower's structure and thought it symbolized parts of the Passion of Christ.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the 5 petals and 5 sepals represented the 10 apostles, not including Judas and Peter, and the corona filaments were like the crown of thorns.
That's amazing.
And then the 3 styles were the nails, and the 5 anthers were the 5 wounds.
Oh, wow. It's fascinating how cultural and religious beliefs can influence how we see the natural world.
It really is.
So what about its historical uses? Were those connected to this symbolic meaning?
Not really.
Okay.
Native American tribes were using passion flower to treat anxiety, insomnia, and even seizures long before those missionaries arrived.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then it spread to Europe in the 16th century. So its calming and sedative properties were known in different cultures.
It seems like a lot of these herbs have this long history of use across different cultures,
We do.
which speaks to how effective they must be.
It does.
And passion flower is no exception.
No. Just like the others, its calming effects are now backed up by research.
It's good.
Yeah, studies have shown it can help reduce anxiety and improve sleep.
So it's this blend of tradition and science.
It really is.
Okay, now let's move on to St. John's wort,
Okay.
an herb that's pretty well known for its use in treating depression.
Yeah, for sure.
Spiritwalker mentioned that its name comes from the feast day of St. John the Baptist,
Oh, interesting.
which is when the plant blooms.
Yeah.
I love those little connections between the names of herbs and their history or cultural significance.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And St. John's wort actually has a long history in European folk medicine going back to ancient Greece,
Oh, wow.
where they used it to treat melancholia. And it continued to be used through the Middle Ages and the Renaissance,
Right.
always linked to its ability to boost mood and calm the nerves.
It seems like its reputation for helping with sadness and promoting emotional well-being has been around for a long time.
It has.
And modern research supports that.
It does. Some studies have actually shown that St. John's wort can be as effective as some conventional antidepressants.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's another great example of how traditional knowledge is being confirmed by science.
It's really cool.
It is.
And finally, we have valerian.
Yes.
Spiritwalker mentioned that it's been used since ancient Greece and Rome.
Mm-hmm.
I bet there's a story behind the name.
You bet. It's thought to come from the Latin word valere, which means to be strong or to be healthy.
Wow. That's fitting.
It is.
Yeah.
For an herb that's all about promoting strength and resilience.
Yeah, both physically and emotionally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what about its historical uses?
It sounds like it's been used for a lot of different things.
It has. In ancient Rome, they used it to treat insomnia, anxiety, and even epilepsy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and its use continued right through the Middle Ages and Renaissance.
Okay.
And even today, it's a popular choice for managing stress, anxiety, and sleep problems.
It's amazing how these ancient remedies are still so relevant today.
It really is. And you know what's fascinating?
What?
Modern research is actually validating many of valerian's traditional uses.
That's cool.
It is. It's like this ancient wisdom is being rediscovered and confirmed by science.
It's like a beautiful blend of old and new.
It really is. It shows the power of combining those traditional healing practices with our modern scientific understanding.
It's what herbal medicine is all about.
It is. Using all that accumulated knowledge and experience together with modern research to create this whole integrated approach to health.
And it's a reminder that nature has so much to offer us
It does.
in terms of supporting our health and vitality.
Absolutely. By connecting with these traditions, we can really unlock a deeper level of healing and connection with the natural world. And I think that's what Starseed Psychics is doing so well.
Yeah,
They're bridging that gap between ancient wisdom and modern science
they are.
to create this really unique and powerful approach to holistic wellness.
It's great that they're showcasing these remedies and how they can help us be healthier.
It is. It's about supporting people on their journey toward optimal well-being.
Yeah.
And you know what else really resonates with me?
What's that?
Their emphasis on the individual.
Yep.
It's not about imposing a one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah.
It's about giving people the power to discover what works best for them.
Right, on their own path to wholeness.
Exactly.
It's like they're saying, you have the wisdom and the power to create a healthy, vibrant life.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming that innate healing ability we all have.
And recognizing that true wellness comes from within.
Exactly.
And it's about trusting that nature has given us everything we need to thrive. These remedies, these traditions, they're not just things of the past.
No, they're not.
They're tools that can help us navigate the challenges of modern life.
And find that sense of balance and harmony.
Yeah,
It's about remembering our connection to the natural world and seeing that we're part of something so much bigger than ourselves.
it's a beautiful thought.
It is. It's about honoring the wisdom of those who came before us
Yeah,
and embracing the healing power within us all.
I think that's a beautiful message to end on.
It is.
This deep dive into Starseed Psychics has been really enlightening.
It has.
I love how they're combining this ancient wisdom with modern approaches to create such a holistic and empowering experience.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Me too.
You know, I'm always drawn to businesses that are pushing boundaries and challenging the status quo.
Yeah,
And Starseed Psychics is definitely doing that.
they are. I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about them in the future.
I think you're right.
They're tapping into something profound.
They are.
This deep desire for connection and authenticity and a more holistic way of life.
And in a world that can feel so fragmented and disconnected,
Yeah,
that message is really powerful.
it is.
It reminds us that true wellness isn't just about not being sick.
Right.
It's about a state of wholeness, vitality, and alignment with who we truly are.
It's about creating a life that nourishes our mind, body, and spirit.
Exactly. It's a journey worth taking.
It is.
You know, it takes courage,
Yeah,
curiosity, a willingness to get out of our comfort zones.
absolutely.
But in the end, it leads us back to ourselves,
Yeah,
to a place of peace and fulfillment.
it does.
And that's a message worth sharing.
It is.
So, thinking about all the different paths to well-being that are out there,
Yeah.
how can people figure out what resonates with them and supports their own journey?
That's a great question.
It's a question worth thinking about.
It is.
It is a great question to consider. I think a good place to start is to be honest with yourself about what's working in your life and what's not.
That makes sense, like taking stock of where you're at,
Yeah.
both physically and emotionally.
Exactly. Like, ask yourself, where am I feeling stuck?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I need more balance? What parts of my life could use a little more attention?
I like that.
Yeah.
And I imagine part of that process involves like exploring different things, being open to new possibilities.
Absolutely. Stepping outside your comfort zone and trying new things.
Yeah.
Maybe you've always wanted to try meditation or yoga, or maybe herbal remedies have always intrigued you.
Yeah.
Now's the time to dive in and see if it's for you.
It's like being a detective.
Yeah.
Looking for clues to a more fulfilling and balanced life.
I love that. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Yeah.
It's all about finding what feels right for you, what aligns with your values.
Right. Trusting your gut.
Exactly. And it's okay to be skeptical, too.
Oh, for sure.
Not everything you try is going to be a perfect fit.
Right.
It's all part of the learning process.
So it's a journey
It is.
of self-discovery.
Yeah, and Starseed Psychics is like a guide
Yeah.
on that
You are
journey.
providing that support.
Yeah.
And it's not just about like individual well-being.
Right.
Their whole model seems to touch on something bigger,
It does.
like our connection to each other and to the world around us.
Absolutely. There's this sense of community, a shared purpose
Yeah.
that comes with embracing this holistic approach to wellness.
Like we're all in this together,
We are.
trying to create a more harmonious world.
Exactly. And I think Starseed Psychics is playing a big part in that movement.
They are.
They're showing us that it's possible to live a life that's both grounded and spiritually connected,
Mhm.
a life that honors our own individual needs, but also recognizes that we're all interconnected.
It's a beautiful vision.
It is.
And it's inspiring to see a business that's actually living those values.
It really is. It gives me hope.
Me too.
You know, if more businesses adopted this approach, I think we could create a world where well-being isn't just a privilege, but a right for everyone.
That's a future worth fighting for.
It really is. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Starseed Psychics,
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's a simple reminder. You are the architect of your own well-being.
I love that.
You have the power to choose your thoughts, your practices, the experiences that nourish your mind, your body, and your spirit.
That's beautiful. It's about taking ownership.
It is. Creating a life that reflects your values.
And it's a journey, right?
It is. It's ongoing.
With ups and downs.
Yeah.
We learn along the way.
I do.
And ultimately, we have to trust that inner wisdom we all have.
We do. We do.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
It's amazing to see a business like Starseed Psychics really walking the walk when it comes to holistic wellness.
It is. It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Likewise. And to our listeners, keep seeking, keep exploring, and trust your own journey to well-being.